Hey everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, and this is an off the charts special guest today that we're with. I told Mark Farner I feel like I'm 15, and I'm not lying. I do feel like I'm 15. We're with one and only Mark Farner, formerly of Grand Funk Railroad. A couple of quick announcements. I just want to say thank you to Melissa Kucerek for setting this up for us. And also make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com/subscribe and subscribe to the audio and video of the show. If you're already watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, which should be down there or up there somewhere. Quick background on Mark Farner in the off chance, I don't know, you've been living in a closet or something. Founding member, lead singer, lead guitarist, and primary songwriter of Grand Funk Railroad. The band was founded in 1969 and has sold over 30 million records worldwide, including 16 gold and platinum albums. In July 71, the trio sold out Shea Stadium in New York City. In Queens, actually, 55,000 tickets were sold in 72 hours, beating the Beatles' previous record. Mark's song Bad Time was Grand Funk's last top 10 single, reaching number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in June 75. The song was the most played tune on radio that year due to demand. Mark released his first solo record in 1977. He's enjoyed success in contemporary Christian music with the #2 and Dove-nominated song Isn't It Amazing in 1988, which I was just telling him, I think I saw you maybe just after that, shortly after that came out, and because you had played that song when I saw you. He's a 3-time Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame member, inducted as a solo member and as an inductee as part of Grand Funk Railroad and Terry Knight and the Pack, and has been married for over 40 years, man. God bless you for that. That ain't easy.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it, man. She makes me who I am. She's my better 3/4, dude.
I feel you. I have one of those. Hey, man, well, thank you so much. It's such a honor and a pleasure to sit and chat with you. And thank you for all the amazing, amazing music you've made over the years, man.
Pleasure's mine, brother. Good to be here with you.
Hey, so you guys got invited to perform at the 1969 Atlanta International Pop Festival alongside Led Zeppelin, Johnny Winter, Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and Creedence Clearwater Revival. I was curious, how'd you guys get that gig? What was that experience like? And what did that exposure do for you career-wise?
Well, we got the gig because Terry Knight, who was our then, manager, the attorneys that he used in New York City, they were doing the legal work for the Atlanta Pop Festival. Just so happens. So a deal was struck whereby we would go on opening act at noon, and we would not charge to go. I mean, and they probably gave them a reduced rate on their fee just so we could play. And that was our first gig, dude. It was
your first gig.
That was our first gig. And we did the first album there. Plus we did Land of a Thousand Dances, Wilson Pickett style.
Wow.
And at that time, I was wearing my brand new paisley print shirt. This long sleeve, kind of blousey paisley print, see-through kind of deal. And I had never worn a shirt like that. I was just doing it for this pop festival. I think I spent all of $30 on the thing. I want to get my money's worth. I get out there, and in Land of a Thousand Dances, we had already played, and my shirt is just sticking to me, dude. And I grabbed it, and I went, and I ripped it off, and the audience went off, man. They went, yeah. And it's like, all right, that works. It was like, they like to see that. And from that point on, I started with a vest, and by the second song, it was off.
Wow.
I would just wear my armband and go shirtless and let my Cherokee blood ring through.
You're in great shape, and you've always been in great shape. Is that like just incredible genetics, or do you work at it, or a combination?
No, it's a lifestyle, actually. We farm, and I run a chainsaw. I'm out there picking up logs and working around here and running everywhere you go. I got to go out to the mill shed, I run out there. Down to the barn, I run over there and keep my wind up.
Right
I've
on.
got a pacemaker in here, and the doctor said to my wife, he says, don't let him baby it. Tell him not to baby it. So I said, okay, I'm going to put this sucker to the test.
Right on, man. So that's great. So you haven't let that change your lifestyle as much as you can then.
No, and it's not a blockage issue with me. It was not in the arteries anyways. It was a branch of nerves that didn't receive the signal to contract. So my heart just went, I'll pass on this one. And then I was, that was it, dude, gone. But it's electrical. That was a bundle branch block is what they call it. And when the doctor that did the catheter on me came in the following day after the operation, they put this pacemaker, and he says, Mr. Farner, he says, he told me he's been doing this for 30 years and all the people that he's done. He says, you have the cleanest arterial system I've ever seen.
Oh,
I said,
awesome.
no kidding. And he said, I want to know what you're doing. I said, well, the only thing that I do religiously is ilhwa ginseng. It's 2 words, ILHWA. It's a Korean ginseng. And I take that every day, but I take the extract. It's kind of like a tar, and it comes in a thick glass bottle. And I get like 90, 100 grams, and it lasts you, a couple, 3 months. But I drink it in my coffee. I only take the tip of a teaspoon of coffee to give the thing the flavor, and the ginseng gives it the rest of the robustness, along with, I always take a little goat milk in my coffee for the creamer. But he told me on his way out, he told me he did a 12-year-old boy the day before he did me, and I was cleaner than the 12-year-old boy. And then he says on his way out, he says, Mr. Farner, he says, you have a pristine arterial system. He says, that's my estimation of what you got. He says, whatever you're doing, you just keep on doing it.
Man, so I want to ask you a question about that, because I'm totally into health and natural supplements. Ilhwa ginseng. So it's like a thick extract, and you take just a little tiny bit of it and put it in your coffee every day.
Yep, it comes with a little spoon, a little measuring spoon, and you just take that in there. And you don't want to boil it because you'll kill it. It's alive. It's really,
Okay.
It's a living organism that you're putting in your living organism. And it's a blood cleanser, blood purifier. It helps bring clarity of thought. The other thing that I discovered,
And everybody needs it.
Oh yeah,
If it helps bring clarity of thought.
but something that really assists the ginseng is this new thing that it's I heard about it a couple of years ago. My son came back from California and brought a friend who had shilajit. Have you ever heard of shilajit?
No.
It's spelled shilajit, and it's pronounced shilajit. And it's a resin that comes out of the mountains up above 12,000 feet in the Himalayas and the Altais in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Altais. And it comes out of the fissures and cracks, but it's what the Hunzas have been, in all those tribes up there. They got 159-year-old people walking around, and all of the monks are up there. They take the shilajit too, and it's from where the continents collided to form these mountains. All of this is back when trees were trees, dude, and all that shit, it got smashed between, the masses, and all that organic humus and everything. This is thousands of years, shit. Now it's coming up. And the monkeys up there, the way they discovered it was seeing that these same monkeys that live at a lower altitude that don't go up there, it's the same exact, species, but the ones that were up there, like 2-3 times bigger than the ones at the lower altitude, and they wanted to see, so they watched them eat the shilajit, and they purify it with water. They just collect this stuff and they rinse all of the sand out of it, and then you know, it's a resin. So once the water evaporates out of it again, it's like this sticky resin, and if you let it go far enough, it'll turn solid, and you could slap it and it's like saltwater taffy. It goes into a million pieces, or you could pull on it and it'll stretch and give it a quick yank, and you know, it is, I'm telling you, dude, in India, they call it the destroyer of weakness. I love that.
I know, that's pretty intimidating to take that, man. So I got some homework, and I bet you a lot of people listening do too. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's
good stuff.
Acid and folic acid and all kind. You can imagine the trace minerals. Holy crap, man! Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh,
but
right
you got to get something that's in a, you know, in a glass jar or glass container. There's a lot of that stuff on the internet where somebody just looking for shilajit, they're going to go for the best price, and that's probably not the best way to get it.
Oh yeah, it's like everything else. You get what you pay for, man. You know.
Got it.
Hey, so let's go back. Thank you, because I'm into this stuff. So you what was the experience of the pop festival? What did that do for you guys, exposure wise?
Well, it was not just Atlanta. It was every city in the country that was there. You know, when they heard about the pop festival, and that word went out, and they really didn't want us to leave the stage, us being the opening act. It was like they kept trying to bring us back out, bring us back out. I was like, man, this is great. Are you kidding me? And all these record companies are standing around there looking, and we weren't signed. But it was shortly after that we signed with Capitol Records. Terry Knight made the deal. It was a production deal with him and Capitol Records, and then we signed to Terry Knight Productions.
Gotcha.
That's where we really got screwed.
Yeah, do you want to? Are you okay talking about that?
Yeah, man. I want people to avoid it all.
Yeah.
What I had to go through, because it's not nice. And there's a lot of people out there that are not nice, that will take advantage of your ass if you let them. That you gotta furnish yourself with the information and stay on guard. Don't believe anybody. Always question all people.
Talk about what happened there, because it you know, I read really in detail about everything, and I was blown away with, like, you know, it was very sad. I mean, that's the only way to say it, you know? So if you could share that, I think that's a great story.
Well, yes, it was. We did the concerts over in Europe, came back 1971, you know, did Shea Stadium. We started in 69, and we had a 3-year contract with Terry Knight and his attorneys. The ones that got us the gig at Atlanta were his personal attorneys and ours as well. We didn't know. We're 20-year-old kids.
And you're musicians. It's not what you do.
You know these guys. You trust them. Okay. We were dumb. You got to have your own representation. You need your own ears and your own mouth. Your attorney, to somebody that is covering you, looking out for your little ass. So that was our big mistake, the biggest mistake we ever made. We didn't have anybody in our corner, and we actually believed these people who were conning us from the get-go. We played, like I said, in Europe. Terry Knight came to the band, said, look, we grossed over, or netted over $1.5 million. Anyway, he said, you guys can't take this tax hit. You know, let's leave it in the most stable world currency in a Swiss bank account. So I think it was Deutschmarks at the time, and he went and put it in there and in his name.
Wasn't that?
We never saw a nickel of that. And then, you know, when we're back in the United States, setting up here in the offices in New York City of these attorneys, and they go, well, you guys, somehow you owe $400,000 on your income taxes, and we didn't have it. Even though we'd made all this money, for the first year, dude, we were making $350 a week salary. We don't know where the rest of that money went. 20-year-old kids, but we're starting to grow, starting to wonder. At the end of the 3 years, here we are, $400,000 in debt, and the Infernal Revenue Service is going to come riding down on us. So they said, but we will loan you the money
to pay nice guys
to pay off your Infernal Revenue debt if you will sign another 3-year contract. That's all we're asking.
Oh my God.
I said at that point, dude, I was livid because I felt like, man, we are getting raped here. And I said, this ain't something you can just stand there and look at us and we say, hey, you know, yeah, do it. We got to talk this over, man. We don't want to be around you guys talking this over. So they go, oh, we'll go in the other room. And they walked out. They filed out and went into the other room. I went over and I sat in the main attorney's seat there, his chair in front of the desk. And I kicked my feet up on his desk. And I'm leaning back and I'm going, well, guys, we're really in a pickle now, you know. And I set up, and as I set up, my foot hit the top drawer and it kind of kicked it open a little bit. And I looked down, and here's this contract between Goodnight Productions and Capitol Records sitting right there. Can you imagine that?
Oh
now,
my God.
He's told the band, brother, that the 6% that we're getting was more than the Beatles got. So we didn't know. We figured, great. I'm looking at a contract now that's for 16%.
Oh my God.
Means he took 10%, gave the band 6%, and then commissioned that 6% for management commission. Took all my publishing for all my songs because I didn't have a publishing company. 20-year-old kid, didn't know what a publishing company was. And he said he had all these worldwide affiliations and what have you. And so I signed the deal. He got the publishing, I got the writer's share. But the whole pie, if you're promoting your own songs, you need to own the whole pie. And I should have had the publishing and writer's share of every song because there was nothing to publishing it. It was just a formality. And I could have done that, but that's not the way it was back then. And I guess I was supposed to learn that lesson. I got it real good now, Craig.
Holy shit. How did you, first of all, thank you for sharing that. That is like, I read all this and I was sick to my stomach. Just from the it's injustice is like not even the right word. It's, exponential injustice. How did you, once you realized what went down, how did you keep going as far as like, how did you have a positive attitude about what you were doing? Because, man, that's a big kick in the ass.
It is, but we were 22 years old at the time, had a lot of spunk, a lot of get up and go, and a lot of, we have to show him now who we are. We have to go out and be bigger than we ever were. We hyped this up to ourselves, and it made us stand tall because we are looking forward to going on, being what we could, and actually taking in the money, having somebody on our side counting it.
Right.
and start to, save up some of this stuff that was getting, it was stolen from us. just flat out.
Yeah, that's probably that's an accurate description.
But Terry Knight, God rest his soul, he died at the hand of his daughter's boyfriend.
Holy crap.
Stabbed him with a hunting knife several times. And Terry was trying to protect his daughter because the guy was high on drugs. She was like 18 and the guy's 28 or something like that. And he got in between them, and while he's given his life, the daughter goes out and goes to another apartment. It was in an apartment complex, and goes to a friend's, and the guy was trying to get in there when the cops got there and arrested him. But that's I don't wish that on anybody. In fact, I had a conversation with Terry Knight, and I told him, I said, after we discovered and determined how much you had taken advantage of us, I said, we were, really kind of blown away. We didn't know what was going on. You really had us fooled and everything. I said, but I want you to know that I forgive you, and that I'm not harboring anything like that, because that would eat a man's soul up.
Yeah.
Anything like that. You just got to get that shit out of you, because it's negative. And you got to be that positive, loving person that you are, in spite of all the shit. That's what you got to do.
Wow. So, holy crap. So once you imagine though, the serendipity of like, it's kind of funny. You're a kid, you put your feet up on but look at that's like a God thing to me. Like that, that's not, okay. So, once that happened though, you guys you got your own representation moving forward. Yeah.
We had, it was his sister married, Paul McCartney, Eastman's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we got them to represent us, but it was settled out of court.
Okay.
And there was some outrageous claims and outrageous back and forth, but we were just glad to get it behind us and set our feet in the right direction.
Yeah. And good for you that you had the courage to forgive him, because I can't imagine how much better you felt once you got all that shit out of your system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Thank you, man. That was really cool of you to share all that. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
How the hell was it possible? You guys released 2 gold records 4 months apart. People don't put out 2 albums in 5 years. That's pretty intense as far as work schedules, production. How the hell did you do that?
Well, we were fresh off the road into the studio, so it wasn't like we had to tighten anything up. And I would write the stuff on the road, just as we're going along. I'm writing songs. Got a jam, in the back.
So that was normal. It wasn't like you were doing this big feat. It was like, hey, we got shit to do. I got songs. We're tight as a band. Let's just do it. Wow, that's just amazing, man.
And no click track, brother.
Oh yeah, of course.
We played with human feel.
Yeah, man. For you millennials listening, no, just kidding.
Right.
Your dad was a 4-time, if I got correct info, Bronze Star World War II veteran, and your mom, this is really cool, was the first woman in the United States to weld on a tank during World War II. Is that correct?
That's right. She welded on Sherman tanks at Fisher Body in Flint, Michigan.
That's amazing.
And her picture was on the Flint Journal with her standing on a Sherman tank, her helmet tipped up, and she had her striker in her right hand and holding it out like, we can do this, That was great.
How do those experiences relate to the backstory behind one of the greatest songs ever written, I'm Your Captain? And what is that song and its success meant to you over the course of your life?
Well, as far as the the military connection, it really was made with the Vietnam veterans because they wanted to be closer to home, you know. And I heard from so many who were hanging on to that song, and in fact, they took a vote to see which was the favorite song of the Vietnam veterans at the 25th anniversary of the wall, the monument in DC.
Yeah.
And it was "I'm Your Captain." And they got a hold of me through management, and they said, could we get you to come and, you know, play the song for us? And I said, are you going to have a stage and lights and stuff? And they go, oh yeah, we got PA and that. I said, I'll bring my band. We'll play a set for you guys. We'll do a whole set. We won't charge you a penny.
That's
This
cool,
is
man.
us saying thanks to our brothers and sisters. And not just the US veterans. There was a lot of Canadian veterans there too, my brothers from Canada, you know, our northern neighbors. And it was, man, it was 36 degrees. But when we started playing Closer to Home, I'm Your Captain, the tears came rolling in. I'm telling you, it was the hardest for me to get words to go past that big ball in my neck, because I'm a very emotional guy. And when I see that coming out of someone, those veterans who are remembering back, and now they're on home soil, and now they're, you know, standing next to their wife or, you know, whatever, they're very grateful. And that emotion just came pouring forth. It was worth, I mean, I'd go back and do another free show every night of the week just to feel that, just to be part of that, because it is a supernatural, heavenly feeling.
You've had that opportunity. I mean, you've written so many great, incredibly moving songs, right? That's got to feel that you've been able to evoke so much emotion out of so many people, man. That's got to be a pretty special feeling.
I feel like I'm connected to my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Because I am who my songs say I am. And that's how people know me.
Yeah.
And because of that, you know, that I know this, I have such a love for the fans who come and stand in line to get an autograph. I mean, what a small thing to do to make this person's life, right?
Yeah.
And that part, when I can have the time and, you know, we're sitting there, and I'm listening to stories and guys just shooting them out here, shooting this one, shooting that, about when they're in the foxhole or down, you know, in guys laying it on his back in a rice paddy with a boulder on his belly to keep him under the water, and he's got a reed that he's breathing through to stay alive and stay there until it was after dark. I mean, man, brother, the stories. And that song, he says, that song was going through my head.
Oh man, I just got goosebumps, man. That's pretty, yeah. That's pretty it's very cool that something you just said too. You said, look, how small of a thing is it for me to sign an autograph, but it means a lot to somebody else. That's a great thing that you look at it like that, because it's like giving a guy or a gal an extra $1 tip for something. It's like that's their living, man. So you give someone an extra $1 or $2, that means a lot to them versus
it sure does. Yeah, brother.
I
appreciate the encouragement.
Oh yeah, man. I love hearing that. I love to talk with you about a few of my favorite songs you wrote. If you could tell me the backstory to some of these songs, that'd be great. From On Time, Heartbreaker. What an amazing track. What's the backstory of that one, man?
That happens to be the first song I'd ever written.
Wow.
I wrote that song one night after I was playing at the time in a band with Dick Wagner.
Oh yeah, from
Yeah.
man, I had Steve Hunter on here.
Oh yeah, man.
Lovely guy. He was in the service, man. We had a whole conversation about. He was not a medic. He did X-rays. He was like an X-ray tech.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was working with Wagner. He had his inversions and he had his ways. I'd look at his finger. I'm thinking, I'm looking how, and I'm trying to make, and mine feel like they're clubs. I'm watching the fluidity of his fingers, and he's going up and making these chord inversions. And we stayed up till maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning playing electric guitar with no amps, just sitting there. And I asked him just candidly, I said, Wagner, man, how do you come up with all these songs? Where do they come from? He says, dude, you got them in you. They come from inside. You can write a song. I said, I can? He says, yeah. So I stayed up and wrote Heartbreaker.
Holy crap.
All I had to do was hear what Wagner had to say. And I had so much love, admiration, and respect for him. Man.
Sometimes we just need permission to do something.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Exactly.
And
yeah,
it's like unleashing some, but man, your first song is Harper. You went right for your black belt, man. You didn't start on like yellow, white. That's awesome. Another really moving song from We're an American Band, The Railroad. What a tremendous tune. Tell me about that one.
Well, I just, my dad was, him and a fellow fireman were killed at a railroad crossing. They were in a 55 Chevy, and they were broadsided by a train that was, doing like 55 miles an hour. Car didn't have a chance, and neither did either fireman. And that always kind of stuck in me. And my mother going up to the trials, up to Bay City to the courtroom, and taking us kids in there with her, and then I'm listening to this procedure where they were trying to get to some accountability out of the railroad because there was no lights at the crossing. But it wasn't a very good attorney, and I just walked out seeing my mother very distraught, and the railroad. I said, but these people, as I look, I said, they're not to blame for killing my dad. They got a hard job, And I started thinking about that one day, about me as a little kid in the courtroom listening to this, and then listening to the railroad side, and and then considering later about the railroad is a mighty fine line. You know? And it's and kind of tongue in cheek with the Grand Funk and the actual railway systems. It just worked, and the mentality. When I sing it, I dedicate it to the working class. And dude, it brings the house down.
Well, it's the music to that is very it's incredibly moving, man. That's a very deep song, man.
Thank you.
It's amazing. You seem like a very forgiving guy. Where did that come from?
A long lineage. It's my great grandmother, who was my dad's mom's mom, was a Free Methodist, and we would go to church on Easter, and there was a couple other times that we go to church. but she told me, she says, I'm 96 years old, Mark, and I've never told a lie. And I believed her. So I think I might have got some of that.
Right.
You know, wanting to be totally honest. I want to be a help to people. I don't want to get too involved in the mirage, you know, because you're spinning your wheels over there.
Yeah.
You got to go over there and just get enough out of there to eke out a living and leave the rest of it alone.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's good. That's a great quality to have. That's a very admirable quality that you can forgive and walk away. Your own life is, of course, much less stressful when you could do that.
Yeah, man. It really is. And you know, the Bible says, forgive with the measure that you expect to be forgiven with.
Right on. Yeah.
Same measure. So that's a good one.
In Need. I've always loved, there's like a really cool, that blues fill. I love that, man. Is there any chance you remember what guitar you were playing on that track when you recorded it? I've always said this kind of sounds like a Strat, but I don't know. Maybe not.
It's Messenger.
What is that?
Messenger had an aluminum neck that went through the guitar right to the tailpiece was hooked to the back end of it and came over the top to hold the strings, you know, the balls of the strings. But inside the guitar, it was like a hollow, 2 rails that would go down to the tailpiece and then over. But the neck was the same dimension all the way to the body, and the last fret, you got to it before you got to the body. So there was no having to put your hand around to play real high stuff, or like on a Strat or something that you have to compensate for the thickness of the neck and the body.
Yeah.
Get up on top to do that. The Messenger was like the same all the way up. Only the frets were really soft. And I wore them out on that thing. Within 3 years, it was toast.
What amp were you playing through back in the day? Both, if you remember, I know if you don't remember, it's not a problem. It's studio and live. The
West amps. I played through a Grandie and a Fillmore at different times, but I always played through D130s, JBL D130, 15-inch speakers. This is how guitars are supposed to be reproduced, with a 15, something that can move your pant legs.
I have a Delta a PV blues amp there, man. It's got a 115. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, dude.
It moves. That's fun. This is a tough question. Just give me your knee-jerk reaction. Top 3 experiences you've had musically.
Top 3 musically?
Yeah, musical experiences.
When I wrote Mean Mistreater.
Why is that?
I took delivery of Fender Rhodes, you know, the suitcase model.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys from the music store left, but they delivered it and took it right up the stairs, up into this big room in a house that I was renting. And it was just like a one big attic, you know, but it was finished up there. It had drywall and what have you, just an open space. I said, just put it right out there in the middle of that. And so when they left, I locked the doors, looked around, I looked outside. Okay, I'm going to be alone. I'm going up there. And I walked up the stairs, walked over, turned that thing on, turned the vibrato on there. And I reached down and hit that first chord of Mean Mistreater. It just came out of, there it is, bam. And then I rocked and then I got the next one, and And I'm going, and I had turned on my cassette recorder.
Oh, smart man.
Yeah, dude. And I'm getting this. And then I start, me mistreated. You know, oh yeah, I'm feeling it because of that. The room is so ambient and it's all coming back to me, man. And even my voice, when I sang into the room that was already full of music, it sounded like I was on a microphone or something. It was crazy, man. It was
That's another beautiful, beautiful song, man. That's so cool.
Thank you.
All right. Number two.
Number two, I would have to say, when I took delivery of my B3 organ.
It's funny you're like known for being such a great guitar player, and all your stories are organ keyboard stories.
Yeah, I got another one though, a guitar one. But this time, these guys from Flint, Michigan, drive out, and the guy had told me, "You don't want a 122." He says, "You want a 145, and you want a pair of 145 Leslie's." He says, "Because I can tune those things up." And he says, "And you will love it." And and his name is Winters. He was a salesperson, and he's a great keyboardist, man. And the guy could play his ass off. And he left, and all the guys left, and they're gone. And I'm down in the basement. This is a different house, and this is my first house that I bought. And they took off. I went over. You know how you start a B? You hit the starter, and and after the thing winds up, then you hit the on switch, and it stays going. It's like starting a car or a truck. And the same kind of deal. I had the foot pedals with it, and I started bouncing that boom, 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 boom on a C, on a real low C, boom, 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 and then I rock my hand. It just came, dude.
That's just
yeah. And when the guys got there for rehearsal and I started playing it, they went, "Oh man, yeah, that thing rocks." You know?
That's amazing, man. And number three, what would be the third?
Number three would be Hyde Park, 1971. Free concert. Humble Pie opened. And we went on. And the park was full of people, man. I mean, 65,000 people. It was
in London, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was jamming, man. The people were jamming, and the English version would be of a bikers club, you know. Came up, they got in front of the stage or stuff, and they're standing there rocking. They just walked in front of everybody, just came right up there. So I'm back, and the stage is maybe 12, 13 foot, you know, above the ground. Where I could see the whole audience without a problem. I could see them all. And especially these guys in the front, because they're between every song, they're so at one point I would, you know, and I forget what song it was, but I'd run across the stage and slide on my knees with my guitar like this, you know, I slid right off the front of that stage, Craig. Wham, I come down, I land on my feet, and I keep playing like it's part of the show. And these guys are freaking out. They are freaking out.
Wow.
And I am, because I'm going, oh man, thank you, Jesus.
Holy smokes.
I could have died on that. So, and then I did find out just how far 2 coil cords, you know how we use phone cords, and I had them with XLR plugs so I could extend, you know, get the whole stage. That was as far as they'd go. The drop off that, I couldn't have took a step forward. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, man. That's funny.
And I ran under the stage, and they helped me back up. got on stage and finished the show.
That's amazing, man. Really funny how that stuff works sometimes. Did you always want to be a musician, or was there ever something else you considered doing at one point?
Always wanted to be a musician.
Yeah. You talked about the issues with the contract troubles. What were some of the other maybe low points or dark periods you've had to deal with, and how'd you get through them?
Well, as far as in the business, we were through doing, having the same kind of getting screwed by the booking agency. And we finally got somebody to audit, and, you know, we recovered a lot of money. But the thing you got to do, and you got to get it in your mind that you're going to do, is you have to audit. No matter who it is, you have to do an audit every like 3 years. You know, it might even be less than that now. I don't know, but you have to. Even Capital, we still audit them because they're going to screw you if you don't audit them. And every time it pays off.
So the cost you're paying, it's an investment because you're going to get X% a return on that investment, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, that's just like, imagine that. I'm just sitting here and thinking, imagine you got to pay someone else to get what you really get paid. What a what a shit show, man, to be honest with you. What an absolute shit show.
Yep. I agree, brother.
Wow. Terrible, man. Everybody pays tuition in whatever we do. I was wondering if you might be kind enough, Mark, maybe share one or two mistakes you made early on and the lessons you learned from it, what you got out of that.
I made a deal with a guy verbally on a hayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he would give me so much per bale. And I trusted the guy. He was the veterinary's brother. And I used to hang out with the veterinary and, you know, just hang out with him at the track and whatever. And it's a very interesting profession. And I was, you know, kind of like his sidekick and would go on a run with him.
Yeah.
But his brother, you know, I think he offered me like $1. It was $1 a bale or something like that. Back then it was okay. And I said, yeah, it sounds all right. But then this other guy comes along and he's going to give me $2 a bale.
Right.
I said, well, I definitely have to go for that. And I was not a man of my word. I didn't stay with my first decision. And that thing has bothered me to this day, even though he knows, and I explained it to him, but it still bothers me.
You know what, man? I understand that because you had this whole principle thing that you got from your great grandmother.
Yeah.
You know, and if that is your identity that you assume that you want, you know, you've assumed that identity, I'm going to be this, you know, guy who's honors it. I can understand why you've had that dilemma. I also understand why, of course, you as a business person, why you took the $2.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
You know, it's not like I'll give you $1.10 and you said, no, okay, great, I'll take the $1.10. I mean, you know, double is double. So I get that.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if that's the biggest regret you have, though, I think you're okay. Man, let's talk about gear for a few minutes, Mark. What's your go-to guitar right now? And how has that changed over the years? And what other two guitars would round out your top three?
The guitar I go to and have gone to since '96 is a Parker Fly.
Right,
and
that's what I thought you said.
I play a hardtail. and Ken Parker and Larry Fishman, were together partners in that company. And when I told them I had this operation on my neck and I had C6 and C7 are fused together, and the doctor came in and told me, he says, you're not going to be able to play a Telecaster or Stratocaster, Les Paul, anything with any kind of weight to it. And they call him a rock doc in Nashville.
Okay.
He's got a ponytail longer than mine, man,
Dude, rock and roll has been a dangerous profession for you, man. Vertebrae fuse and pacemaker. Holy crap.
Yeah. So he told me nothing more than 5 pounds, dude. And I said, oh my God, it's like you're killing me. But just the year prior to this, in 95, I was out with Ringo in the All-Star Band.
Oh, cool.
And we started in Japan. And every time we get to Tokyo, I always stop into Korg just to check out, to see what they got going new. They're a very innovative company, and I've endorsed them for years. But I went over and I'm looking at some stomp boxes and some pedals that they have. I forget they play a part and you play a part, and that was going through and he says, have you ever seen the Parker Fly? And I didn't know it was a guitar. And I'm thinking it must be some kind of pedal. I said, no, I never even heard of that. What is that? And he hands me this. I think it was made out of basswood or something. It was like 4 pounds. I picked it up and my hand I went, what? That's incredible. That is incredible. Well, after the doctor tells me this, I'm reminiscent of that Parker, and I call and I talk to Ken Parker, and they made me, first they just sent me a couple of guitars. They said, yeah, man, we will get you on these Parkers right now. And, but then they made me the hardtails. The ones that I had, the ones they sent were with a whammy bar, and I have no use for that in my style. Mm-hmm. I only used the whammy bar once on a dive on the end of Rock and Roll Soul.
That's interesting. You remember the one?
And then back up. On stage, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Everything goes out of tune on them things. Yeah. And I love the sound of an electric guitar that it's got good wood in it, just without the amp. When it sounds good by itself, ooh, then amplify it.
Yeah, that's a good guitar. I know. Someone told me that early on when I started playing. If it sounds good when it's unamplified, you got a great guitar there.
Yeah.
Sure. So you've been with Parker since '96.
Sure have.
Right on, then. What was your main guitar when Grand Funk started?
Messenger.
Oh, okay.
My buddy who sold, and he was a distributor for Sun amplifiers. You remember Sun?
Yeah. SUNN.
Yep. Yeah. And that was the Kingsmen came to Flint, and they played through these Sun amps, and we watched them guys play, and we said, oh my God, we got to have Sun amps. But we ended up going, of course, with the West, which is about a direct copy of a Sun as you can get. And it was like a Dyna 60 amplifier with some, modifications that Dave West did. In fact, one of the modifications, and he come to find out it was totally by accident, he had something wired backwards to the schematic.
Yeah. And
I said, no, man, don't change it. Because he came out and he says, oh my God, I fucked up all these things. And I went, what? He says, dude, look at this. I said, don't change it. Listen to that thing.
Yeah.
You change it, you're going to screw something up, man. Leave it. And so he did. Yeah. Us guitar players really like that Grandy. Oh my God, that was a good head.
Do you still play those amps?
No, they're cooked.
Yeah, I would imagine. What are you playing today, amp-wise?
We do fly gigs, and I backline.
Okay.
Special, like a Fender.
Yeah.
Just for I use that for the treble.
Mm-hmm.
And then I use an extension speaker with a 15
mm-hmm.
and use the preamp and amplifier section of a twin.
Okay.
Or a super, something I can, have that nice clean sound. And I feed the subwoofer, this 15, the nothing but lows, and I feed the high end through. Sometimes I do, what is that other one? That's deluxe, nice little deluxe. You can get that nice, that treble out there without getting into distortion. And somehow, because I'm going out of an Aryan stereo chorus, that's my last effect on my board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeding that low end one side of stereo. I'm feeding the high end the other side, and that chorusing, dude. Ooh,
makes it work.
Sweet. Oh my, yeah, it's sick, man.
It's good to see your enthusiasm so many years later with the tone and sound and all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm a tone maniac.
Do you have a favorite song you wrote?
I'm Your Captain.
Yeah. Okay. I would imagine you've had the opportunity to play with so many people over the years. Is there like some favorites that you have that you really dug grooving playing with?
Well, I've liked playing. We went down to, I think it's Louisiana, or God, I'm trying to think of we did a bike run before the show. Oh man. It's James from Elvis's band.
Oh, James Burton.
James Burton's, yeah. When he put it together, a bunch of guitar players went down there. I mean, everybody comes on stage and you got 13 guitar players across the front. And, standing next to some of these guys that are, legends, guitar players, and me out there just like a kid. I feel like, oh my God. I'm surrounded by all this talent right now. And, that experience helps to keep a man humble, but also thankful that we're family. Like talking to you is like talking to my brother, musicians we are family, and we're tight. And that's a lot of love up there. I like the experience of, sharing the stage and listening to Delbert, playing some slide, or, Delbert McClinton.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah.
And then
he just won a Grammy. Like, I think he just got a Grammy last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserves it, man. He's a badass. Yeah. And, just playing the guy from Rusty from Poco.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly. I know.
He's a slide player, too. He does that. Really phenomenal musician. And, every time I'm with somebody like that, Randy Bachman showed me his power chord, that G that's, I'll show you it.
Yeah, man, that would be awesome.
This one. Dropping it down to that F.
Yeah. That guitar is nice, man. Oh man, this is pretty cool.
This Taylor.
Oh yeah.
I played it in Chicago on WGN, and the guy tells me, the engineer, he's been there 36 years, he's been the engineer. He says, Mark, I've never heard a better sounding acoustic guitar. He says, I didn't run it through any of my shit. He says, I just took your signal, and all I had on it was just a little bit of reverb, just a little bit. And it's this guitar. It's got the shit.
Did you connect with Tim Godwin over there?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Uh-huh.
He's a very sweet guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a small world, man, the music industry. It's very small.
Good people.
It is a lot of good people, man. Did you ever sell a guitar you wish you can get back, Mark?
Did I
ever sell a guitar that you wish you could get back?
Oh, yeah. Well, I sold quite a few of them to one guy because he was just a kid, coming up in music, and he wanted to be a guitar player, but he says, I think I'm going to play bass instead. Well, he became a bass player, and I sold him probably a half dozen, of my guitars. Flying V's and Valenos. Here, excuse me.
Sure, man.
There. No.
you mean business.
But I wish I had that SG, that white SG that I played the album E Pluribus Funk with. That came from Stevie Marriott. He brought it because, they opened for us in Europe. And then I told Terry Knight, I said, dude, we need to bring these guys to the United States, have them open for us there and do our tour in the U.S. So their debut in the U.S. was Shea Stadium opening for us.
Oh, wow. You hooked them up royally.
Yeah, big time.
Oh,
and
man.
that was with the full band, Jerry Shirley on the drums and Frampton, of course, and Stevie Marriott. Those guys, man, they were so good together.
Yeah, great, man. Do you happen to know Dan Baird from the Georgia Satellites?
No.
Dan has Steve's Telecaster, I believe. He bought it. Somehow he got it. Yeah, and he's got it. It's totally beat to crap. He doesn't really take it out anymore, but he loves it.
Yeah.
Tell me, this is a tough one, man. Top 3 Desert Island discs. No particular order, and just for now.
Desert Island discs?
Yeah, like top 3 records you would take to a desert island. Just for now, because that's the kind of question you get a different answer every day.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Johnny Winters. Leland, Mississippi blues, Yeah. And I have to throw some Rick Derringer in there.
Thank you. You were a guy, you come from a working class family, and you did something that just allowed your gift that you brought to explode. How did you keep yourself grounded during that whole time, and not, because I see people, they're nuts with celebrities, and a lot of people let that shit get to their head. How did you stay,
I did it just like you explained it. I saw what I didn't want to become, and I heard things after that person left the room that I would never want said about me.
Okay.
And it's just, you know, I got that guard up because I'm trying to be the nicest person you ever met.
Right.
In spite of the things that people go, I don't know how you could do that. I wouldn't let that. Yeah, go ahead. But it's about forgiveness. It really is about forgiveness. If we don't learn forgiveness, then we didn't learn a damn thing.
Yeah, man, that is the truth. It makes your life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't matter if it did matter. That's my friend that I used to shoot combat with on the police. I was auxiliary police so that I could shoot on the team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And went all around the country shooting these nationals. It was great. And I wasn't, you know, the greatest shot in the world, but I always finished in the top 25%.
Dude, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world, but I love playing my guitar and it feels good.
Right. Me
you
too.
Know?
Yeah.
Tell me what makes you happy.
Love. And it comes in many forms, but you always recognize it.
Yeah, that's true, man. All right, tough question. Tell me what you like most about yourself, Mark, and then tell me what would your wife of 40 years say she likes most about you.
What I like most about me is admitting that my wife is my better 3/4.
Giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
And to tell you, you know, she provides the space for me, Craig, to be creative because she knows me well enough to know, like, when I'm on something, I just go in this robot thing and I gotta get it down. I gotta she knows. And so she provides that space, or on the road, she knows I can't see anybody for an hour before I go on that stage. I'm psyching out. I'm playing my guitar. I'm getting loosened up. I'm getting ready to go out there, and I can't say hi to anybody. I can't stop to, talk to anybody. I just got to stay there. She provides that. I mean, she knows. And like I said, she's my better 3/4. 42
cool.
years.
42 years. Man, honestly, that is just so cool, man. That's really good to hear. Yeah, it's really good to hear because it's not easy having a relationship that long. There's a lot of give and take involved. You both got to come to the table. You both got to want it. You got to be on the same team. And that shit takes effort, man. It's not like you're, every day is like, wine and roses, you got to work.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. Tell me something or someone you miss from your childhood.
My dad. He died when I was 9.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that, how he passed and how that turned into the railroad stuff. I'm really sorry about that. Do you have any hobbies outside of music?
I target practice and I fish.
What do you fish for, man?
I fish for trout, stream fishing. I like stream fishing a lot. It's a strategy fishing. And I like to go out in the Great Lakes and hook into a salmon and have them rip my arms off me.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So when you're fishing the stream, you're doing fly fishing?
No, I do fly fish, but I like to fly fish on lakes where there's these hybrid bluegill that you're getting a 15-inch bluegill, dude. It's like trying to pull a barn door through the water. Yeah.
A 15-inch bluegill.
Yes. And you fillet them. It's the best eating fish you ever had.
Wow. I didn't know. You have a wholly different fishing environment up there than we have here in Florida. Here it's, we have great bass, of course, but it's all lake fishing and, very smooth. Wow. That sounds cool, man.
Yeah.
Favorite place you've traveled? I know you've been all over the world.
As far as foreign countries, I think Japan, because I had a lot of experience there with going up to see the snow monkeys.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. And we went and stayed in the 13-room motel that's up there in the park and had some of the best food I ever put between my lips, man. I kid you not.
Wow.
And then, you know, experiencing, the sign says, don't look the monkeys in the eye.
Oh, really?
Yes. Don't feed the monkeys. And don't leave children unattended, infants unattended, because the monkeys will take that unattended infant because that's their instinct to care for it. Make sure nothing's,
man.
if they just see it by itself, they'll go over and take it, you know, to take care of it.
Wow.
Yeah. But great experience, man. And crazy, man, because, you know, it snows 2 feet overnight up there. And then they got the hot springs, they get up on the roof and all these tiles, they take that hot water and just down, right down the peak, and it all washes off. It's great.
Yeah, man. I've seen so many documentaries. I love nature and animals. I love watching those snow monkeys, man. That's so cool that you got to see them right up front.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Awesome, man. 2 more questions, Mark. And this has been like, dude, you've made my month. Forget it, man. Thank you. Toughest decision you've had to make or most difficult thing you've had to do?
I'd have to say the decision to buy a Toyota Land Cruiser, because my dad kept telling me about how my stepdad, you know, telling me about these 4x4 Land Cruiser. So I ended up, I bought one, and we took it up to Canada, my stepdad and I and my brothers, and we ran the shit out of it and overheated it and everything. You know, really had some fun with it. And then I ended up giving it to my stepdad. But I should have bought a Jeep when they were made in the U.S. I was part of the problem back then, buying foreign shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I have an F-150. I love it. It's so inexpensive. If anything happens to fix, oh my God. And it's like, boom.
Right.
And the last question, man, biggest change in your personality over the last 10 years, Mark, and how much of that has been intentional and how much is a natural part of aging?
The biggest part really occurred when I had the pacemaker put in. That's like, all right. Yeah, it's about the size of a dental floss container. You know? That's
amazing. You remember back when we were kids and you'd see someone at the swimming pool, it'd be like a pack of cigarette, like a pack of, you know, like 100s, you know, that's amazing. Holy crap.
Yeah. But when on the way to the hospital, I went to Harper in Detroit. My wife and I were staying at downtown at the hotel, and she went in and was doing her morning thing in the bathroom, fixing her hair and whatever. And she said when she came out, my arm was up, my left arm was up in the air, and my leg was shaking, and I was like going through a fit or something, you know, having some convulsions. So she gets on, paramedics get there, they got me on oxygen, and I'm going, wow, what the heck is going on here? And I get into the ambulance, they're taking me to Harper, and in the emergency room there, I'm on this external pacemaker. They've got me hooked up. There's 3 doctors, maybe 6 feet away from me, 3 doctors looking at this machine that's in a corner, and they got the screen there pointing to things, and they hit me with this electricity, and I bellered out, wow, I mean, I just, to the top of my lungs. And my wife heard me. She comes running in from the other room because she was out, you know, they had her in the hallway out there. She comes running, what's the matter, honey? She comes over to me. I said, they hit me with so much juice, I think they plugged me straight into the wall. And just as I'm telling her that, they hit me again, and that killed me. I mean, I was gone. I went in to heaven. And as soon as you leave your bone suit, dude, you are back where you started from before you inhabited that damn thing. I'm telling you, it was, you know, the place, you know it. It's very familiar. It's like, oh my God, what relief to finally get back to this paradise. You know, it's where we used to dwell before we came here into this bone suit. But when I got back there and realized, and in that state of being, you know all things. And I even had the satisfaction of knowing the purpose of these fucking earth years. But I didn't bring any of that back with me. I didn't bring it. I can't tell you why. But I did. When I came back, I was fighting. When I heard my wife and the doctor's conversation and him saying, we got to get him to OR stat. And I mean, when he said that, it was like MASH 4077, and it was choom choom, and they got it stuck in me. But on my way back in, that second time, I died twice, but the second time, I knew that the plague of mankind is entertaining the thought of owing someone for anything. Indebtedness is not being free. And the Bible says, owe no man anything except to love him. Yeah. And that I knew as I was coming in. And I had been telling my wife for 10 years prior to me checking out of this bone suit, I said, it's debt consciousness. And I told Kid Rock's aunt when I was down there having Thanksgiving with those guys, and she's a devout Catholic, and she said, well, what do you think's wrong with the church? And I said, debt consciousness. Here we are supposed to be telling people the good news, and we put them in debt. And you go to a church that passes a plate, and the Bible says don't give unless, you know, I mean, if you're being compelled, don't give. And don't give begrudgingly, you know, give from a cheerful heart. Well, how can you do that? Here comes this plate. It's like, oh my God, I got to put something in there, and you're being compelled to give. And here, this guy that I took, he was in prison. Him and his wife came to the church for the first time. When that plate came by the first time, dude, he took his wallet. All he had was $2. He put that too. And then they took up another collection, and they took up another collection. After that, the guy slumped down in his chair. It's like he couldn't put no more, and he would never come back because he couldn't keep up with that shit. And it's just bullshit. It shouldn't be about money at all. I learned that indebtedness is our enemy, and it's a weapon used by those who control this world. Indebtedness. They have entire countries indebted to them. The families that own the Federal Reserve not only issue the currency to the United States, they issue to Mexico, they issue to Canada, they issue to Japan, South Africa, India, you name it. Any place there's been a British settlement on this globe, those people that are indebted, and that's when, you know, when that Japanese stock market started to falter, the families went in there and swooped them up just like they did us when we were faltering in 1913. Yeah, we signed the Federal Reserve Act, and that was because we put ourselves back under the powers we declared ourselves independent from in 1776. Something in the milk ain't cream, brother.
I never heard that one. So understanding about this thing with indebtedness, how did that change your personality?
It helps me to forgive, easier to forgive, knowing that it's unhealthy to be held in debt or beholden to somebody for anything, or beholden to something even. You know, if we can have the permission to set ourselves free, each one of us has the power.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to give ourselves that permission. It's nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah, man, I agree with you there, man. We got to stop watching bullshit television. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got that right, brother. We never watch television. Don't even have an antenna, you know.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want to tell people about something that's important to you. A couple of things, actually. First of all, Mark Farner's American Band did a massive concert in Santiago, Chile in 2017 that was recorded. I don't know when it's going to be coming out, but I would encourage you. Mark will be posting it on his socials. So follow him on Facebook at Mark Farner's American Band, and you will no doubt see it there. You want to talk about that show? Because you were pretty enthusiastic about it.
Well, yeah, the Chilean people, the fans there at in Santiago at Teatro Caupolicán, like a 7,500 seat, intimate around. It's in a, you know, kind of like a Coliseum setting on a smaller scale, of course, but the acoustics were wonderful. The people are singing louder, and these are Hispanic speaking, you know, people singing American English very clearly. and the words to every song, man, I'm going, oh, they're just loving me. They're just loving this band. Look at this. They're just showing us this kind of love. Oh, and they captured it on tape, and it's there, coming out. It will be coming out. I don't know exactly when, but it's because nobody knows exactly.
Does anybody know when anything
about the music business? Holy, yeah, it's going to be a while, but it's a good one.
Awesome.
I give it an 85. You can dance to it. No,
man, come on. And also, you're really passionate about Michigan flood relief, and Mark has Mark Farner's Mid-Michigan Flood Relief, which is a GoFundMe campaign. So why don't you talk about that, and then hopefully people will like to contribute to that at GoFundMe.
Well, I've asked people to give what they can. Not a lot. I mean, you know, if everybody gives just a little bit, it'll all help in the end. But we are giving the funds to Michigan Red Cross, who are helping. They're there helping the families in need. But these families, when those dams let go, a lot of these people lost their everything. They lost everything from the, you know, from the cars to the collectibles to the whatever was in there. I mean, places were washed down river, and so many folks are now without a place. And you know, we're just doing what we can to try to see if we can help them out some, and let them know that other people in the state are thinking about them enough to lend a helping hand.
Very cool. And I'm sure there's a explanation of everything in more detail on the GoFundMe page.
Yes.
Great. So go to Mark Farner's Mid-Michigan Flood Relief and check it out there and contribute to that if you are so motivated.
Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. Thank you for anything that you give. And if you can't give any money, send a prayer.
Right on, man. Man, thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. This is, like I said, I felt like I'm 15 now. Man, I still feel like I'm 15 an hour and a half later. Anything else you want to promote or you got going on you want to talk about?
Just be kind.
Be kind, man.
Promote forgiveness. And and don't believe anything you see on Lamestream. Yeah, because that has confused so many people. They are gullible and innocent people. I love them, but they've been misinformed. And when you have corporations, corporate conglomerates that are dancing on the end of the puppet strings to those who rule the universe up above us, it's not going to be good. And trickle down from insanity is stupid on any rung of the ladder.
You gave me some new quotes to use here, man. I thought I had a bunch for you guys. A new trickle down from insanity is going to be stupid on every level. I like that, man. Well, man, thank you very much for everything. Let me wrap this up, and then I will chat with you for a minute, Mark. Thanks very much. I'm glad your health is doing good, man. That's really good to hear.
Thank you, Brother Craig, and I
My pleasure.
Time with you, man.
My pleasure. Likewise. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share it on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Again, thanks very much to Mark Farner for spending time with us. Again, just to mention, 2017 Mark Farner's American Band DVD from Santiago, Chile will be coming out. Follow him on Facebook at Mark Farner's American Band for more info. And check out the GoFundMe campaign at Mark Farner's Mid-Michigan Flood Relief. And most important, especially nowadays, man, keep this in mind. Remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Be nice, go play a guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I am out. Brother, thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure. Good to